got it. Stand by for Titanfall.
So, welcome to Titanfall. This is some world exclusive footage that I recorded when I went to an EA press event last week, along with a lot of other YouTubers, including Jack Frag, Syndicate, Matt the Musketeer, Lutin, Wintergore, Charboy and Azzy were there as well. It was a really good evening. We got to meet a lot of the guys at the Respawn and actually working on the Titanfall game, and a lot of guys at EA that are also involved with actually getting this game out onto the market. It was a really good experience to actually get involved with those guys who are actually making the game. So the footage that I've got for you today is mainly Titan based. In Titanfall there are pilots and Titans. Being the pilot means that you're the actual soldier that can run around on the ground, that can use their jumpsuit and things like that. And of course you've got the giant mech Titans that you can call down from the sky after a certain period of time. If you go on kill streaks you can decrease that time, so on and so forth. But today it's mainly going to be about the Titan, because the footage that I've got for you is of a brand new game mode that I believe is going to be included in the beta, called Last Titan Standing. This game mode does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a team-based mode, 6v6, but you start in your Titan rather than having to call it down from the sky after a 3-minute period. And it literally is the Last Titan Standing. The idea that you have to win it for your team, but you can use whatever weapons you have at your disposal, any defensive measures you have. You just have to use whatever you've got to try and destroy the other Titans. You can even run up to them and punch the other Titan. I found that's actually more effective sometimes than firing at long range, and that was so adrenaline pumping. The actual game mode itself is perhaps one of the most fun game modes I've ever played in an FPS shooter. It's actually a round based game mode as well as being team based, so if your team win the first round you take a 1-0 lead, and it actually has 7 rounds in total, so the first team to get to 4 rounds worth of wins will actually win the match. But there's a halfway point in the middle where you switch sides on the map, so you're not always using the same tracks all the way through the same map again. And I think it's a really good way of playing out. If a lot of you guys have played Counter-Strike, you'll be familiar with the way that each round you have to be the first to 16 to win. Well, here you have to be the first to 4 to win. And it's really encouraging, because if you're sort of 2-1 down, you've still got a really good chance of actually winning the round. And because these ones can only take sort of 30-40 seconds depending on how good your team is, the fact that it is a round-based thing means that you can carry on smashing into things for another 10 minutes at a time. It's just so much fun. Now you might be thinking that this game mode might be a little bit heavy because it's just full of Titans. Well, you might actually be a little bit mistaken if you thought that, because the Titans do have a sort of a shift system where you can use, I think on the keyboard it was the space bar, and it has the refueling system where if you push it, it will like sort of sprint you in whatever direction you happen to be pushing on the WASD keys. Which means if you are out in the middle of nowhere, you can shift from the right to the left very quickly in your Titan to sort of get out of the way of enemy fire. One of the things that you can do is obviously you can put up this shield in front of you by pushing the Q button, which collects all the enemy fire that happens to be coming at you, and then you aim it back at the Titan that's firing at you and you let it go, and all the bullets turn round and fire straight back at the Titan and does damage to them instead. Now if you happen to do that, of course you might have to reload your weapon after that, so then you can shift out of the way. So being a heavy game mode is really not what it's about. Obviously there's these massive mech robots that do a lot of damage, but you can still get out of the way relatively easily, you can flank. It's quite easy to move around in the Titans. I did speak briefly about sort of turning around the enemy fire. It'd be a good time to mention the weapon I was using. I was using the 40mm cannon, which is available in the tank loadout for the Titan. Now, when we were playing there were 3 loadouts available, and I believe you can customise them later on, but I think that at the moment it's locked to that, so I guess in the beta it will be exactly the same. So I was using the tank loadout. Now, there's also an assault loadout and an artillery loadout. In the assault section, you get access to the Titan's machine gun. Basically, it's just a fully automatic machine gun that's really good for long range because you've got that sustained fire. It doesn't do that much damage, but obviously, if you can get all your bullets on target, you're still going to do a fair amount of damage with that thing. In the artillery loadout, you get this sort of rocket-propelled grenade thing where you get 4 shots with it, each producing 4 rockets that fire out and go towards the Titan that you're aiming at. but they don't they take a really long time to get there, so you have to be quite precise with where you're actually shooting. But if you do get them on target, they're so devastatingly powerful that just literally a few shots from that weapon and you can take a Titan down. And I was using the 40mm cannon, which kind of sits in between the assault and artillery class, where it's a semi-automatic shotgun firing shell cannon high explosive thingy. And it's really good at sort of medium and close range. But anything sort of long range, it's got quite a long travel time on it, so it's not very accurate there. But I found the best way to damage a Titan, if you're getting into close quarters, start hammering the C button and you'll start punching the Titan that's in front of you. It actually does more damage than some of the shotguns and other weapons out there that you can use to damage Titans. And it was so fun to do that, especially when you've got 3 or 4 Titans in a really small space and you're just smashing the C button trying to kill this one. And you can actually get an animation at the end of it where you can rip the soldier out of the middle of the Titan and squash him, and you get the kill obviously for taking out the Titan and the pilot. It's such a good feeling when you do that, just literally hammering into another Titan and punching them was such a cool experience. So I'm really impressed with Titanfall first of all, and Last Titan Standing is such a good game mode. It's really competitive as well. I mean, the team that we had myself, Matt the Musketeer, Syndicate, Jack Frags, Calvin Robinson and Lutin. And we were all on one team and we were playing against a couple of other YouTubers and some press guys on the other team. And both teams were being really competitive and strategic about what they were doing. And it actually does require quite a lot of thought, as well as just hammering the mouse button and firing things at people. It's actually a really good game mode, and it's so exhilarating and it gets your adrenaline pumping. And if you manage to win, it's such a good feeling. But anyway, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this one, please do hit like so other people can see this new game mode that's going to be available for the beta of Titanfall. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Critical damage. Take evasive action.
One enemy Titan left. You got this.